Alright everyone, welcome back to Higurashi no Nakukoro ni Rena's arc. So I will admit that I am not as much into this one as I was the other ones. Yes, I'm sure, like I said before, that it'll connect some of the pieces, but as of right now it's very unconnected from the rest of the story. So I'm having a hard time drawing me in. Like Shion's arc, it answered so many questions and it kept me on edge. Like every chapter, this one is not so much. But hey, we'll continue and see where it goes, because I'm pretty sure that it probably will end up connecting. At least I hope it does, and it's not just like Rena's just thrown in there for no reason except for to be crazy. Like I'd like for her to be connected to the whole curse stuff and whatnot. In any case, let's continue. So last time, she ended up she ended up killing Satoko's uncle, and Satoko's uncle's girlfriend, whatever you want to call her, who was trying to basically steal from her father. And she went a little kind of bananas at the end there. So we're going to do my Rena voice, but we're going to do it like one of those creepy, like, ghost girl kind of things. So here we go. It had been very hot for the past few days, and the corpses were rot quickly. Any housewife knows how fast fresh meat can go bad. I know it too. That's why the first thing I did was to dismember the corpses. There was only one reason why I needed to dismember them. I had to reduce them to portable size in order to carry them to a place where they'll never be found. When men see the word dismembered corpses, they probably feel disgusted because they don't cook. But housewives are used to taking the guts out of fish, and they even sometimes see living maggots. They take the maggots off the food or even cook it with the maggots still on. That's disgusting. The heat will kill them after all. Women don't tell men what to do in the kitchen because men wouldn't eat the food if they knew. So it didn't really bother me much to dismember them. I was released from all my problems by killing them. Cleaning up the mess was like nothing to me because I got freedom and regained my happiness. I dismembered the corpses using carpenter tools like a saw and a hatchet. I'm wearing a black sweatsuit I bought today just because I thought it might get stained with blood. Blood stains don't show on black fabric, and I can just throw it away after it's done. I brought a plastic sheet I found in the dump because I thought the blood might spread otherwise. If I did work on the sheet, I could just burn it after I was done. In the end, dismembering human bodies is no different from preparing food on a chopping board. It sadly doesn't sound anything like somebody chopping up bodies. Oh, I was so very tired from chopping apart 2 adult bodies, but I didn't have a problem. I cut off their arms, legs, heads, divided each body into 6 pieces. I heard before the blades get easily ruined by fat when you cut apart a corpse. So I brought many kinds of tools. And I was right. I didn't have to go back and forth between here and my house to get another tool in the middle of work. A long time ago, the construction manager was murdered and his body was dismembered here during the dam conflict. He was cut into 6 pieces the same way You know, it's funny because I was actually thinking about him and wondering if Rena was the reason behind his death. But no, she wasn't there, was she? I mean, I don't know what the ages are because of the sprites looking all the same, but like, she said she moved like before elementary school, no? I don't know. He was cut into 6 pieces in the same way. Well, I had 2 bodies, so there was double that, though. I remembered the main suspect was still on the loose, and the victim's arm he hid hadn't been found yet. I wonder where he hid it. I'd like to ask him, I smiled wryly. Unlike the arms, legs, and heads, the torsos were difficult to take care of. I thought about cutting them into smaller pieces, but decided against it because I thought it'd be troublesome to clean up the guts. I put each piece in a black trash bag and sprayed on a lot of deodorant. I wasn't sure if that would help against the smell, though. Many blue bugs flew around me while I was dismembering the corpses. After I finished putting all the pieces into each bag, the bugs were still flying around. But that was just because they could smell the blood. After I cleaned up everything, they were all gone. Now all I need to do is get rid of these 12 black bags. Burning them would be easiest, but I don't think I can burn them to ashes without using a cremator. The best way is to bury them somewhere. Other than the torsos, every piece is small enough to fit in my backpack. This is so fucking disgusting. I could easily carry them without being noticed. I could throw them in the river. But if I did that, someone would find them for sure. I've seen the news several times before that a bag with a body part in it was found beside the river. Every time I heard something like that, I always thought the murderer was stupid. I thought about dumping them into onikakushi swamp, but rotten meat floats. I thought about weighting the bags, but there's no guarantee they'd stay down. So that left me with one choice, to bury them. There are many unexplored mountains at the end of the abandoned districts around Higurashi and Takatsuro. It's probably best to bury them somewhere in the mountains. While it would be safe to bury them here in the garbage dump too, it's not perfectly safe. And so I'm going to bury all these bags somewhere deep inside a mountain in order to completely erase them. My joints hurt since I've been using muscles I don't normally use. I cleaned up the mess very carefully and got into my hideout. While still wearing the sweatsuit, I laid down on the mattress. I washed my hands carefully, but there was still dirt and some blood under my nails. I should take a shower later and wash it completely. When I say things like disposing of corpses, it sounds like I'm the greatest evil of the century. But that's only true if I get caught. What I did isn't a crime as long as I don't get caught. Plus, I didn't do this because I wanted to commit a crime. I didn't do anything wrong. I did this to protect my father's life and mine. People might speak ill of me, but I don't care. In the end, I don't think anybody can really pass judgment on my sins. Sins aren't something to pass judgment on. They're something to confess and atone to. In other words, nobody can measure the weight of a sin other than the person who committed the crime. Do I regret what I did? Do I feel sorry? No. I don't think I did anything wrong. I truly believe there was no better way than killing them. I'm sure it was the right thing, because my life had already started to change since the night I killed them. A few days earlier, I just came home after killing Teppei. My father was cleaning the room Teppei had thrashed, His eyes were swollen. He'd been crying. Rena, where have you been? I was talking with him. I said Rena will never come to our house again, so please leave us alone. Therefore, he'll never come back. I don't think he'll stay away from us that easily. You should watch out for him for a while. It's hard to explain why Teppei would never come back. I can't tell him that I shouldn't worry because I killed him. I grabbed ice cubes from the freezer, put them in a plastic bag, and handed it to my father. Here you go, Dad. Your cheeks are swollen. He must have only noticed it then. Oh, thank you. Don't worry about cleaning up the mess. I'll do it. I'll get the vacuum cleaner. Rena. He called out to me. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. It's not your fault. They make their living by deceiving people. You were just one of their targets. Rena, did you know who they were? Yes, I found out recently. I didn't tell you because I thought you wouldn't believe me. Didn't she tell him though? I'm sorry. He looked down. When he told me about how he wanted to get remarried, I told him they were bad people and they scammed others with badger games. But he didn't listen to me, so I was right in saying that he wouldn't have believed me. She took advantage of your pain. I'm a very bad father. Then he started talking about how he met Rena, as if trying to absolve his guilt. It was when he was suffering the most and he needed to drink away his sorrow. At a bar he happened to go into, Rena was the one who came to his table. It was her job to be a good listener when customers talked. Rena must have been a really good listener and offered words of comfort when he talked about the divorce. If he was emotionally stable, he could have taken it as kindness that she was only offering at the time. But he was so desperate that he took it the wrong way. After that, the tragedy was inevitable. He wanted to believe it was destiny and he glamorized everything about her. It would be easy to laugh at him and say he was just dreaming. But I don't blame him, because being weak is also part of being a human. He had plenty of opportunities to grow suspicious of her questionable spending habits, but my father just read even that behavior as an attempt to cheer him up. He bought everything she asked him to, and Rena had landed her catch. He shouldn't have bought his lover to the house where his daughter lived. But he was crazy about her and he didn't even think about it. I'd forgotten that I was a father first. What was I thinking? He started crying. I held his shoulders gently. It's okay. You realized it in the end. You're my father no matter what. You're the only family I have. He couldn't stop moaning. We held each other and cried together. The next day, my father got up early in the morning. He was already cooking breakfast when I got up, and he told me, "Your father is going to get his act together from today onward." Dad, you should have used salad oil before you cooked them sunny side up. It's been a long time since I cooked. He pried up the burning eggs on the pan with a spatula and added salad oil to it. It was too late. Doing that just made it an even bigger mess. But I didn't say anything, because I wanted to eat his eggs. I waited at the table quietly. He put the burnt eggs on a plate and brought them over to me. He looked like he tried to salvage them by adding cheese, but it didn't really work. Still, it smelled good and crispy. It actually stimulated my appetite. Thick cut toast popped out of the toaster. I made coffee with extra milk and sugar because my father liked it sweet. We put everything on the table. It looked terrible, like the cooking class of an elementary school. But to me, it was precious, because my father tried very hard to make it wearing the apron. Great! It smells good. I hope it tastes as good as it smells. It might be better if you do the cooking. I feel bad making you eat this. I'll take care of the cooking when you take care of getting a job. Ugh. It had been a taboo to talk about work in our house. He hadn't worked since the divorce. It wasn't only because of the divorce, though. He just didn't have to work because the settlement my mother gave him was so huge. Plus, I let him be lazy because I felt guilty about it. But my father cleared his wrongdoing by showing repentance to me. And I also atoned for my sin of not doing anything about my mother by doing what I did the previous night. Now we are free of sin. I'm going to try to find a job. I'm thinking of going to the employment service agency today. Yeah, that's a great idea. It's not money he wanted. He just needed a normal lifestyle. I'm old and I'm not very strong. I'm a bit worried if I can find a job at all. What kind of job are you looking for? I'd prefer a desk job, but I don't think a lot of companies would offer one to an old man like me. I can ask my friend. Mi's the daughter of a big landowner in Hinamizawa, so she might be able to find you something. No, it's okay. I'll do it myself. I have to man up, you know. I don't remember the last time we enjoyed breakfast like this. I don't even remember the last time we had breakfast together. For the first time in a long time, the morning light felt refreshing. I wanted to keep enjoying life like this. But unfortunately, I had to go to school. I told him I'd skip school that day and I wanted him to take me somewhere fun. But he tried to be a good father and said I had to go to school. Well, I have to go now. Have a good day at school. He followed me to the front door. I was a bit embarrassed for some reason. He talked to me while I was tying my shoes. He followed me here not because he wanted to see me off, but because he wanted to tell me something. I've been sad ever since your mother divorced me. But I realized I shouldn't be sad because I have you, Rena. I didn't have to feel sad at all. Dad, that's what being a family is about. Yep, you're right. Again, I'm not a good father because I had to learn something that simple and important from my daughter. Well, I have to go now. Katie's waiting for me. Have a good day. Oh, Rena? I'm going to cook dinner tonight. I'll do the grocery shopping on the way back from the employment service agency. Look forward to it. I promise I won't fail like I did now. Okay. I'm looking forward to it. See you tonight. I left the house. My father saw me off, still in the apron. It was the first step of our new life. I finally regained it. I'd finally regained everything we lost after we left Hinamizawa. My mother wasn't around, but I didn't feel sad because I had my father. The cries of the cicadas sounded as if they were celebrating my new life. The sunshine was bright and the wind was sending up a nice breeze. The only thing that wasn't nice was the ticking clock. Oh, I was late because I spent too much time with my father. Keiichi might already be gone. I don't think he'd be waiting for me that long. But he was there anyway. Hey! Good morning. Good morning. Sorry I'm late. It's okay. I usually make you wait. So it's okay if I wait once in a while. We're really going to be late. We should walk fast, I think. Yeah. Let's walk fast. We might have to run at the end. Me might already be gone. She's waiting for sure. We're friends. We never leave each other behind, right? Anyway, did something good happen this morning? What? Why do you ask that? Well, you look very happy for some reason. I just thought maybe something good happened. The good mood I was in must have been too obvious for Katie to ignore. I had not only my family, but my friends, too. I felt something warm spreading in my heart. Well, I'll tell you what happened this morning. My father made breakfast, but... What? Isn't that the right way to cook eggs? You use salad oil for making salads, don't you? What? I have to tell everyone you just said that. What did you say? Those rude remarks are unforgivable. Fine, bring it. If you're saying that, then you're willing and ready to throw down, aren't you? Hey, what's going on? Satoko, okay. Why don't you two place an outside bet on our club activities today? It'll be fun. Me? What's an outside bet? What is it? An outside bet means what it says. That Satoko and I will place a bet on each other outside of the game. The one who played worse than the other has to suffer an extra punishment besides the normal one. That means I get to see one of you suffer no matter who loses today. So, what do you say, Satoko? That sounds like a wonderful idea to me. Keiichi will take a punishment for being the lowest ranked game and another punishment for losing to me. How wonderful. Great! I like your spirit, Satoko. Alright, let's play today's game with the outside bet. It's more fun to think about punishments than to think about the game itself. It sure is. I can't wait to see how miserable Satoko's gonna look if she takes her punishment. Keep dreaming, Keiichi. Ow! Take that! Stop it! Ah! Stop fighting, you two. The game hasn't even started yet. Chi-sensei opened the door and came in. Take your seats, everyone. Let's start homeroom and then you can all go home. Everyone headed to their seats. Mi-chan? What is it? I'm sorry to ruin the mood, but I have to go home after school. I have things to do again today. Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry you gotta go. Are you busy with housework or something? Uh-huh. Well, this old man has no right to stop you when it comes with housework. I don't do housework myself, our housekeepers do. Why is it not clicking? You should help them sometimes. It'll be good training for married life. Don't worry about that. I already have the kind of skill, to be a good wife. Me looks like the kind of girl who tries to stay away from chores as much as possible. But she can actually do everything. That's just who she is. I don't know if this was written. Actually, don't know when this was written. I don't know if this was written in the time where women did all the housework and cooking. And I guess it's also a tiny village, which would probably be more like that. But it pisses me off a little bit. Just saying. Just a little bit. Actually, quite a lot, actually. She went through hard times to learn those things, but she acts like she learned them without a struggle. That's also who she is. I like that about her. What? Are you going home, Rena? Oh my god. Then you won't see Katie go to the teacher's office wearing an embarrassing uniform. What a shame. It's going to be fun. Pity you have to miss it. Yeah, I'm sorry. You went home right after school for housework yesterday, too. Did something happen? Yeah, kind of. It might take me a few more days. Well, then I guess you can't join us for a while. Maybe. I'll try to finish as soon as I can. Can we help out with the thing you have to do? If it's something like carrying out our own furniture, let me know. I can help with that. Are you redecorating your house? This old man can bring lots of help for that. Oh, I have an idea. We can make a game of helping her out with her housework. Uh-oh. At this rate, the person who doesn't end up helping her will be the winner. Thank you, you guys. I really do appreciate it. Well, seems like there's nothing we can do. Therefore, I announce Rena Viduger's withdrawal from the front lines as of today. I order you to take a rest till you finish doing your housework and return to the front as soon as you've regained strength. Well, there are many games for. Oh, can you play Mahjong, Kate? Yup. My dad sometimes forces me to play Mahjong with him and his friends from work. Oh, of course, we're good as Mahjong as well. After that, they fooled around and made a lot of noise like they always did. I looked at them and reminded myself I always have a place to return to. I left the classroom with a smile. Are they gonna, follow her? I was going to Yagouchi on my bike. I had to find a place to bury the bags with the body parts. Hopefully I could finish burying them all today before it gets dark. With that, everything would be over and done with. Wait, did she bring them with her? That's disgusting. Oh, it's switching to Keiichi. Dude, I don't like the back of the tiles are made of bamboo. You guys haven't marked them, have you? I wouldn't be too sure. Keiichi, you sound traumatized by the experience you had with our card game. Well, I think there are some scratches on them. They're cheap ones, you know. But it's more fun when there's an element of doubt, don't you think? Me, how many reds do you want to use? 6? Rika sounded professional, and it scared me. Oh well, I should start by checking the tiles. Playing mahjong with my family is different than as a club activity. I have to be cautious. It's possible one tile is missing or there's an extra of a particular tile in here. We don't do things like that. Still, that's interesting. I didn't think about that. Let's see. Let's put them all face up on the table and check them before we start. Come on. Everyone flip the tiles face up. Huh? One dragon is missing. I don't know anything about mahjong. I literally skipped the chapter with Asakusa. Because I didn't. One low pin and one low slow are missing too. Oh, one low Wayne is missing as well. What's going on? There are so many missing tiles. Oh, I remember. Hold on a second. Mion hit the palm of her hand with her fist, moved her chair aside, and stuck her finger into a gap in the floorboards. She hid them. She then pulled out a tile out of there. Mommy, come here, baby. There you go. This is the dragon. I don't remember where I put the other 3. Wait, Mion. Why are there so many tiles hidden in the classroom? Well, you know. She must have hidden the other 3 tiles somewhere in the classroom and forgot. We couldn't play mahjong with 3 tiles missing. I suggested another game, but Mion insisted that we had to find them and suggested making that treasure hunt our game. As long as I can make Keiichi suffer a punishment, I care little as to what kind of game we play, but to be honest, I'd prefer to play something more interesting than that. I agree. Plus, you're not sure they're even here in the classroom, right, Mion? No, they're here. Or maybe this old man put them in his pockets and let them in the washing machine. I don't remember. I recommend checking the number of tiles after we play mahjong with Mion next time. Everyone except Mion nodded in agreement. What? You don't want to play our classroom tile hunting game? In other words, cleaning up the mess Mion made so she could cheat. Do it yourself. Don't use our club activities for personal reasons. Fine. So what do you want to do? We can't play mahjong now. What are we playing then? Does anyone have any ideas? As our club president, Mion usually decides what we'll play. I couldn't just come up with something on the spot. While we were all thinking, Mion hit her palm with her fist just like she did earlier. I got an idea! If you don't want to hunt for tiles. Rena? I knew it. I fucking knew it. Let's do a real treasure hunt. What name comes to your mind when I say treasure hunting? Rena, right? You mean, are we going to the garbage dump at the dam construction site? I don't really go there often, but the place is large. I've heard that place is haunted by the ghost of the man who was murdered there. His body was cut into pieces. We shouldn't go near. So Rika, I'm assuming, knows everything. So she probably knows exactly what Rena did, which is curious that she's helping her. I'm assuming because finding out will lead to something bad, or her friends finding out will lead to something bad, like Rena's not. I don't know, I'm not sure, but Rika's always trying to protect everybody, I feel. So, yeah. A ghost? I like it. That's even better. I didn't know there was a rumor like that. I do know someone was murdered and the main suspect still on the loose. He had the arm of a victim and it has yet to be found, right? There's a rumor the construction site manager, the victim of the dismemberment murder case, became a ghost, and he's wandering around the place to find his missing arm. Dude, I want to do a whole chapter as Rika. She's the easiest and cutest voice. Rika? You don't like ghosts? Don't tell me you're still scared of ghosts. I'm a shrine maiden. I can see them even if I don't want to. Wow, you could see ghosts? If I remember right, I heard there are those that can see spirits as naturally as they do us. For some reason, I don't think she's joking. That's utterly ridiculous. I've been living with Rika for a long time, but I've never seen anything like that. That's just because you can't see them, but I can. For example, when you're asleep in your bed, I always see Mipa. What, does she see Satoshi? Oh my god, I believe that. I 100% believe that, and that's kind of terrifying. Rika! Why did you smile like that? What were you about to say? What do you see when I'm sleeping? Satoko, I feel sorry for you. You can pretend you're not scared of ghosts during the day, but I'm pretty sure you get scared when it's dark. I'm gonna have to make a silent phone call tonight just to scare the hell out of her. Including myself. I don't think anybody really likes going there. Rena's the only one who does. If Rena finds a ghost when she's in her cute mode, she might take it home with her. That's so true. She'd say, "Oh, I'm taking you home with me." It was so easy to imagine that we all laughed. Well, let's do it. Let's go treasure hunting. If you find a ghost, you win. You get a point if you find the victim's missing right arm. And you also get a point if you find anything Rena would like. We can show what we found to Rena later, and we'll let her decide who's the winner. I can't wait to win this game and make Katie take double the punishment. Hey, Satoko, are you sure you want to win? That means you're gonna see a ghost. Ooh. Stop it! You're getting on my nerves. I don't want to go there. I'm scared of ghosts too. What do you mean you're scared of ghosts too? Who else are you referring to? I'm not scared at all. Hey, kid, stop that. Let's go, everyone. Let's find the ghost. Yay! Woo! Yeah. And it'll be over with. Everything will be over and done with. Yes. Wait, what? It'll be over when the Higurashi cry. What was that about? That was weird. Alright, so they're gonna totally find Rena here, and that'll probably go to the scene at the beginning, I would imagine. Are we back as Rena? Uh-oh. Oh. Wait, what? So that's it! Rena finished making her confession. There was no applause or curtain call. It was quiet and a lonely stage that Rena performed on alone. I think I forgot it. I really want to see the in-between. I wanted them to assume that they discovered it. I'm not sure. Maybe they didn't. Everyone else seemed to be feeling the same way. Rena looked at us like she was a teacher waiting for questions from her students. We noticed she was imitating what Chi-sensei does at the end of class, and we all smiled bitterly. I went to Yagochi earlier to find a place to bury these bags. It was hard to pick a place because I wanted to make sure that nobody would ever find them. I even thought about burying them in my backyard because it might be the safest. But after I thought about it, I knew it wouldn't work. My father might start planting vegetables one day and he might find them. So it's better that I bury them somewhere in the mountains. Plus, I don't ever want to let her near my father, even though she's dead. I felt like I did something very bad. Rena's plan was going smoothly. If only I'd hunted on the mahjong tiles instead of insisting on doing something else, this wouldn't have happened. What? When I looked at the others, they all seemed to be regretting their actions too. If Mion hadn't come up with the idea to play at the garbage dump, if Satoko hadn't found the broken refrigerator, if Rika had convinced us not to go, Rena could have had a few more days, and she would have gotten rid of these trash bags. They never would have been found. Then what would have happened next? Nothing. Everything would have remained the same. We could have kept having a happy, peaceful days. Rena had been through a hard time, but she'd been forcing her face into a smile for us. The fake smile was supposed to become a real smile one day. None of us was supposed to notice that Rena was going through a hard time. After a while, Rena was supposed to be able to forget the bitter memory of killing those two, and she was supposed to live as nothing had happened. But now, all of her effort, all of her courage had been ruined. I know killing people's a bad thing to do. I didn't want to do this, and I don't want to do it again in the future. I don't know why this book is literally making me angry. Alright. But I believe this was the best solution, and I also believe I didn't do anything wrong. I just applied my utmost efforts when God presented me with the equal opportunity to gain my happy, peaceful life. Saying we should accept suffering and live in an immaterial life without desires is nothing more than pretty words who have plenty. Rather, they should praise me for what I did. They should celebrate for me. Rena Ryuga fought her own fate. And she won. I don't know why I did it, but I interrupted her. I shouldn't have. But I thought I needed to tell her this, so I did. But Rena, why? Why didn't you tell us? What do you mean? We're friends, aren't we? Friends are always on your side without exception, no matter what. I thought friends were like family. If you told us about it, we could have helped you. I'm going to assume Keiichi's talking about the fact that she found out about this and then she wouldn't have had to murder people. Then you wouldn't... Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. Thank you, Keiichi. Thank you, Keiichi. Then you wouldn't have had to get your hands dirty. What Rena told us made me sad. I couldn't help myself from saying that to her. Rena told us straight she did the best she could. She told us right to our faces. That's the same thing as saying that she didn't need us in order to do the best she could. Kay, you can say that now, but... Wait, let me finish. I believe friends are there to share both happiness and hardship. If you came to talk to us, we could have done something different. Led you to a better future. A better future? There's no better future than what I have right now. Yeah. This is the best possible future. That's a lie. My shout seemed to scare her a little. I knew that Rena didn't believe this was the best possible future. She just didn't have any other choice. If she'd had other choices, she definitely wouldn't have chosen this. I don't know, she seemed pretty bloodthirsty, to be perfectly honest. I know you don't believe that because you're crying. What? Who's crying? Me? I'm not crying. Yes, you are. You've been crying this whole time. Haven't you noticed it? In fact, I didn't see any tears in her eyes or on her face at all. But that didn't mean she wasn't crying. Rena was crying. She was crying because she was driven into a corner after all the hard work she did to become happy. Her tears looked so sad. Anyone who could see those tears wasn't really thinking about her. I'm not crying. I won't cry. I did the right thing. I made the right choice. There's no reason for me to cry. That's ridiculous. I have no idea what you're talking about, Keiichi. I know it. You're crying right now. Rena stopped laughing all of a sudden and spoke with a cold expression on her face. Okay. Let's say I did what you just told me. I told you all about my father and the woman. Then what? Well, Then what? Rena never talked to me like this before. It was as if she was mocking my ignorance, and that made me shut my mouth. You don't know what happened last year. Last year? Yeah, last year. It happened in June of 1982. There was someone who had no choice but to kill a person to free himself from his misfortune. Satoko gasped. Oh, why would you say that? Rena. Keiichi, I don't think you know much about him. About Satoshi Hojo. I know he's Satoko's older brother. He's been missing, but people say he transferred. There's a rumor he killed his aunt for Satoko's sake. Therefore, it's been taboo to talk about Satoshi in my class. Actually, in all of Hinamizawa. Satoshi was under the same conditions as I was. No. He just wanted to have happy and peaceful days. He wanted to live peacefully and quietly with his sister. You've heard about what kind of person Satoko's aunt was, haven't you? If what I've heard is true, this is what happened. After Satoko lost her parents, her uncle and aunt got custody of her and brother, but they were miserable people. Her aunt was especially cruel to Satoko. Satoshi was the kind of guy who wouldn't even hurt a fly, but his aunt probably was the only one whom he didn't have a problem killing. That's how terrible a person she was. Everybody in Hinamizawa knew about the trouble the Hojo family had. Oh my god. Everyone knew that their aunt was a hysterical and crazy person, and she hurt Satoshi and Satoko. Everyone knew everything. Everybody in our class knew it too. Me, the future head of the three families, knew it. Rika knew it, and Satoko knew it too, of course, but she was the one experiencing it. The friends you're talking about knew what Satoshi was going through more than anybody in Hinamizawa. And what happened? Did anybody help him? No, actually. No, nobody did. Mi had the most influence out of all of us, but she made up a lame excuse, saying it might create conflict between the Sonozaki family and the villagers. In the end, all she did was hurt him by offering him sympathy. That's not true. Oh. Yes, it is. Are those supposed to be your creepy eyes? Because they're actually not as creepy as the original one. Satoshi knew it too. He knew you were only pretending to sympathize with him. He knew you had no intention of helping him. That's why Satoshi started to hate you, Mi. He said you always told him you were his friend, but after all that, you turned out to be another Sonozaki, just another person who bullied the Hojo family. Nami, come here. I didn't mean to. You didn't do anything to help him. You rejected his request for help by sympathizing with him. Do you have any idea how much that hurt? Mion tried to find something to say but failed to do so. Nami, come here, baby girl. Come here. She bit her lip instead. Rika, you were the same. Now Rena was pointing fingers at Rika. Unlike Mion, Rika looked emotionless and empty, just like Rena did. Rika, you don't have the kind of power in Hinamizawa that Mi does. But your word carries a lot of weight with the old people who come to your shrine, don't they? There was something you could have done for him, but you didn't! Mika, you did exactly the same thing as me. You just pretended to be his friend. All you did was sympathize with him and Satoko. You didn't try to help them out at all when they were in trouble. Can you imagine how cruel and merciless your sympathy was to them? Satoshi wanted help. He wanted somebody to help him. He was at a dead end and he couldn't get out of there by himself. He was sinking all the way down to his neck in a swamp, reaching for help and waiting for somebody to grab his hand. The difference is that he endured months of this, whereas you decided in one day, after you learned about it, to kill them. Just saying. You're right. Mika's voice sounded so mature. It was different from how she usually sounded. I didn't know how to save them. All I could do was offer them some consolation. I'm not going to deny it, nor am I going to make excuses for my sin of not trying hard enough to find a way to save them. I didn't know you knew. Rena gave her a twisted smile. The ugliness caused me to look away. And Satoko. I don't know if you'll believe me when I say this, but you're weighed down with the sin too. Oh my god. Oh fucking god, you're such a bitch. You are being as bitchy as Shion. I didn't understand why she was blaming Satoko. I tried to take her side, but I gasped in surprise when I looked at her. She looked like she was accepting the sin that Rena had mentioned. Satoko must have wanted to confess her sin before Rena pointed it out to her. And so Satoko opened her mouth first. I don't know if you'll believe me when I tell you this either, but I realized it on my own. I know what my sin is. I see. I realized it on the night Nini disappeared. I wish I realized it while he was still there. I understand how you feel. That sense is that it was too late for regrets, right? I feel the same way. It happened to me before. That's why I fought this time. Satoko, I'm sure you can atone for your guilt in the future. Because you realized what you did. I hate all of this conversation. But that won't bring Nini back. He's not coming back. Satoko looked down sadly. Usually, Satoko would say the opposite. She always said Satoshi was coming back one day without a doubt. But now, she accepted the fact he would never return. I really want Satoshi to be alive. I doubt he is, but it would be freaking hilarious if he was just like in Tokyo. More like ironic. She accepted it easily as if she knew it already because he's her brother. Do you understand now? She asked me all of a sudden. That's how they were in 1982. Satoshi talked to everybody he thought could help him. At least he tried. He told them he needed help. He told them what he was going through. He consulted with them. At least he tried. He even came to me, even though I just moved here at the time. I don't think it was embarrassing or shameful that he did that. So you didn't help him either. That's what you're saying. So why don't you put that blame on that you're putting on everyone else on you, bitch? I'm sorry. I'm being so aggressive towards Rena. I just don't like how she's attacking Satoko. Why'd you have to bring up fucking Satoshi? It's so fucking cruel. It's so cruel. I mean, maybe if Satoko wasn't there, that's one thing, but she is, it's like, it's no different from Shion, like, torturing her, except she's still alive, but you know. People get desperate when they're unhappy. Satoshi tried so hard, but he couldn't do anything about the situation, and he asked for help. He kept asking. You said friends are always on your side no matter what. But this is what friends really are. They're actually just people you hang around with for fun. They don't help you when you need them. Friends are always like that. That's why I decided not to tell anybody when I found out I was in the same situation as Satoshi. I knew no one would help me and nobody could. I didn't need sympathy. It only makes me feel worse. It's better that I at least have fun at school. In fact, I did have fun at school. I was very happy. I was able to forget about the trouble I had with that woman, even if only for a short amount of time. I wish Satoshi could have done that. If he did, he wouldn't have to feel constantly hopeless, and he could have at least enjoyed his time at school. He didn't have any other choice than beating his aunt to death. I didn't know how to help him at the time because he just moved here. All I could do was listen and try to make him feel better. Isn't that the same as what the other people did, you fucking bitch? But there might have been something more I could have done. I might have been lazy in thinking about what I could do. But all that time in 1982, I thought I was his friend. Rena's self-derisive laughter changed into grieving sobs. Her tears gradually wore away at a relationship of trust. Nobody will help me. Friends are just people you have fun with. You can't trust them. The more Rena cried, the clearer we heard her voice and her heart. Mion, Satoko, Rika looked into the distance with sad expressions on their faces. I was the only one who could say anything back to her now. I had to tell her this, and she knew it too. She just needed to hear it from someone. I braced myself to tell her something that might hurt everybody. I understand, Rena. I understand what happened in 1982. What? I understand that they were heartless. But Satoko also told you this. They realized it. They regretted what they did and didn't do. So it should be different this time. They can understand your pain and they can help you. You weren't here last year. I'm afraid you don't know what you're talking about. That's right. I wasn't here. I wish I were. If I was here last year, I would have fought for Satoshi. You're lying. I'm not lying. I've learned how important friends are here since I moved here. I'll fight for my friends. If I was here last year and I knew what Satoko's aunt did to her and Satoshi, I wouldn't have given Satoshi the opportunity to beat her to death. I would have done it myself. I would have done it in 1,500 seconds. I wouldn't have even hesitated. I would have beaten her to death with a metal bat. That's easy for you to say. But you don't know the kind of determination you need to kill another person. I don't know that. And I don't need to know that. You know why? Because it's an obligation to help your friends. I mean, I'm hoping that beating someone to death is the last resort, which, to be fair, in Keiichi's timeline when he killed Satoko's uncle, he did try, like, every fucking thing. Like, he tried social services, like, he tried talking to them. He really tried. So, I'll even give Keiichi lax on that. You don't understand, Keiichi. You don't know how disgusting it is to kill a person. You can never get rid of the dirt on your hands, no matter how hard you try to justify it. You're right. Killing a person in order to save your friends is such a short-sighted way of thinking. It might sound like I'm contradicting myself, but I think things aren't meant to go well when you take care of an evil matter by doing an evil deed. I'm proud of my conviction that I wouldn't hesitate to kill a person for the sake of my friends, but the peace I get by doing an evil deed won't last forever. We all know that by instinct. That's why we despise evil things, I think. What? I have no idea what you're talking about. She didn't have to tell me. I was aware I wasn't making any sense, but for some reason, I could easily imagine a world like that. Because you have... right, remember, he's in a time loop, so... Okay, so this isn't a retelling, this is a different storyline. Okay, thank you, good, okay. Alright, so that makes a lot of sense. So I was wondering if this was connected to another story, but it didn't really seem to follow in the path of anyone, so this is a completely new loop. So he has already experienced the killing Satoko's uncle. And that's why he, even said, with a metal bat, because it's already happened. But for some reason, I could easily imagine a world like that. But for some reason, it seems like Keiichi is the only one who is even having these feelings. It's not like Steins Gate where Kyoma remembers everything to a T. It's more like he has these when Kurisu has these feelings, right, and these dreams. That's more like what this is. He has these these feelings of the worlds that have happened. And that's why I think in the end, he's the one who's going to be able to help Vika. A world in which I saved my precious friends by committing an evil act. The peace I seized by doing that evil deed didn't last long. It got worse. It ended in a way as terrible as the sin I committed. This was a memory that shouldn't exist. I don't know why, but I know for a fact that it happened in the world of possibility. I'm sorry, I don't know what I'm talking about. For some weird reason, I couldn't prevent myself from smiling in embarrassment, even in this situation. But you know it too, don't you, Rena? You know that you didn't want to get your hands dirty. You're crying because you wanted us to help you, but we didn't. You didn't want to be a murderer. You're lying when you claim that this was the best choice you could have made. That's why you're crying. That's not true. 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 You know better than anybody if it's true or not. You've been regretting this from the beginning. Even if you were able to hide the corpses without getting caught, you would never wash away the blood from your hands. How are you going to fool yourself into believing that you won't live the rest of your life bearing the burden of your sin? There's only one way to do that. You have to believe that this was the only choice. That means you have to live your life denying your friends, denying that your friends are worth asking for help. Are we worth nothing to you, Rena? Of course not. You always believed that friends exist to help each other. Your friends were immature last year. That's why they couldn't help Satoshi from his fate. But people grow up. We don't make the same mistakes twice. We don't want to regret the same thing twice. So believe me, we're your friends. We're on your side. So what you're saying is that I was immature too, right? Yeah, I am. You were immature because you couldn't believe that your friends grew up. I'm not going to blame you for that. We didn't notice until today that you've been going through such a hard time. People can communicate their feelings only by talking to each other. So there's nothing we could do because we didn't talk. In that sense, it's hard to say, but we have to admit that this was meant to happen today in order to make your choice the best one for real. We finally talked about our feelings. Now know that you've been distrusting your friends since last year, and everybody regretted both what they did and didn't do. So now, what? How does that make any sense? We finally became true friends. Finally? But it's too late. We only notice our sins after it's too late. That's not true. For example, as your friend, I can understand the things you've done this time. What do you mean by that? I understand depriving the people of their lives is an unforgivable crime. But I also understand that my friend Rena had no other choice. So I don't think you're filthy, and I'm not scared of you. If something like this happens again, we should talk and think about what we can do together. But this already happened, and I understand that. When I say I understand, I mean I forgive you. I don't hate you for what you did. I said that to everybody this time. I said it to all my friends. I accept what Rena did. I accept she had no other choice than to do this, and that this was her last resort after thinking it through many times, even though it wasn't. So, I'm going to side with her. Okay. Of course, if she killed them for money or some other stupid reason, I'd drag her to the police. But that wasn't why Rena did this. She couldn't run away, and she thought it through before she came to this point. Not really. If she's guilty of anything, she's only guilty for not talking to us about it beforehand. But I forgive her for that too. I forgive her for coming to this point. Keiichi. So, I beg you all, please forgive me for not noticing Rena's situation and for letting her go through it alone. My sin is I allowed a day like this to come. Katie, we're the only ones who knows about these bags. If we keep it to ourselves, everything will be fine. Rena doesn't have to worry about a thing. Let's hide them somewhere like she planned. We'll cleanse ourselves with salt later, and that's it. Let's forgive each other for our sins, and we'll regain our happy and peaceful days. This is it, right? Rena, this is the future you chose, right? This is the best possible choice, right? Keiichi. I jumped on the hood of a abandoned car Rena was standing on, and I reached for her hands. Admit it. This is the world you wanted. This is the choice you wanted to make. But this is something you can't choose by yourself. All of us have to reach for each other's hands so Rena can make that choice. In other words, I can't make it happen by myself. I need everybody to reach for each other's hands. So Rena, you need to do it too. When all of us hold hands together, that's when you can go to the world that exists beyond the choice you made. Keiichi, I appreciate it, if you really mean it. But, I'm not sure if that's what everybody else wants. It's so interesting because I think that is what Keiichi just said is exactly what this whole story is about. It's Steins Gate. And he's saying that by everybody working together, that they can break through this cycle that Rika is continuously going through. A little hand touched mine. It's Rika, of course it is. It was Rika. Rika! Rena, you aren't filthy. You didn't give up. You seized your fate, even though you had dirtier hands to do it. I have no reason not to accept you. Rika's small hand was strong and she spoke eloquently. I know how comfortable it feels to be stained by disappointment at everything in this world after getting lost in a maze of misfortune. Alright, now she's talking literally, not hyperbole. Oops. Says, go back. How do I go back? Go back! That's why I can understand how strong you are and how you fought alone without giving up. I would agree with this if she even tried, but she didn't. So, it's hard to agree with her. To be fair, the one lady attacked her first. So that, in some sense, was self-defense. But, on the other hand, it was like a day. I'm proud of having you in my life. I agree with Keiichi. I forgive you for your sin. So please forgive me for mine too. Rika! I'm just a little girl without any power, but I could have fought. I'll not give up on my fate. I'll fight like you did. So I ask you to accept me as your friend. Rika usually acts childish, but now she's talking like a totally different person. She meant every word she was saying. And then another little hand reached out to ours.
Satoko. Satoko put her hand over mine and Rika's. She didn't say anything, looking down for a while. Rika urged her to speak. Rika and I lost both our parents. We never cried about it, however. Because we have you, a family made of friends. I want us to continue being a family for you. It's natural to get it all out and to confess everything to your family because, well, they're your family. So I think today was a great opportunity for us. I appreciate we had the chance to forgive each other for our sins. A family made of friends. Satoko, I like that. I forgive you for your sin, Rena. Please forgive me for mine too. A big hand reached out for ours. It was Mion's. I always thought it was my job as the leader of this club to talk about the importance of friends. So, I guess I'm not that good of a leader after all, huh? Mion. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make fun of you. Mion still smiled and scratched her head. Rena, I'm ashamed of myself as your friend and as the club president for not being able to notice what you've been through. I'd like you to forgive me for that. This is really hard for me because she murdered 2 fucking people. If it was like bank robbery, it would be a little more forgivable, but it's like they're having this like really sweet moment, but I can't like get out of the back of my mind that she like murdered 2 people, you know? It's really fucked up. It would be less fucked up if she fought like Satoshi did. Like, I know you might say like, oh, well, Satoshi did the same thing, but the difference is that Satoshi asked for help. Satoshi tried. Satoshi like basically endured, like, you know, he reached out, whereas Rena decided in a day. Like, she almost decided, like, as she figured it out. Like, you know, like, it did not take her long. And then she seemed to enjoy it as well. Like, I guess we didn't get Satoshi's perspective. But when we got Keiichi's perspective, it was more like anger, you know? Whereas Rena was, like, laughing and, like, giddy, which was creepy. Okay. Of course, I also forgive you for not telling us about it. You couldn't tell me because I wasn't good enough for you. I thought I was trying to be a good leader for you, but I guess I wasn't doing my job. It's my fault. So I forgive you for your sin, Rena. Rena, now you have all our hands. We're all ready for you. It's your turn. Reach out for us. Come to us. This is the world you wanted. You have all of your hands right here for you to reach. So don't hesitate. I'm a murderer. I'll get you guys in trouble. Rena, we are... Rika, you don't need to say anything. We're all reaching for your hand. What else do you need to say to prove it? Rena, you don't need to say anything. All you need to do is reach for us. I have a feeling she's not going to. Come on, Rena. This is real. It's not too late. You still have choices you can make. So choose. You can still make it. Come on. It's not too late to start over again. Rena slowly reached out, and her hand touched ours. She didn't hold our hands. All she needed to do was touch our hands to show us her will. Rena chose to live, to share her life with friends rather than refuse them for the rest of her life. I took a step closer to her and firmly grasped her wrist. It was getting dark, and some stars had appeared in the sky. We all forgave each other for our sins for the first time. Katie didn't really do anything, but whatever. Alright, and it was a little embarrassing, but Rena's tears made us all cry, and we just kept crying. We stood in a circle, holding each other by the shoulder and putting our heads together. We're family made of friends, we forgave each other, and we're happy together. There's a memory in the back of my mind, but it's not supposed to exist. I tried to save one of my friends in that world. In order to do that, I rejected all of my other friends. I acted recklessly alone, and I brought about the end of the world. The situation we had here is the same incident in that faraway world, in the sense that people have been deprived of their lives in order to save one friend of mine. But other than that, it was different. We have Rena, Mion, Satoko, Rika, and myself. Now all you need to do is save Shion, and you got it. Nobody was missing Shion. We were going to regain them. We were going to regain those happy and peaceful days. The road going there might be a little rough, but we'll walk it together. We all will. We went to the place in the mountains of Yagoji that Rena had picked for burying the bags. Carrying corpses is scary, but it made us united more strongly because of that. I'm having a real hard time with this chapter if you guys can't believe me here. Since each part of the corpse is in a separate plastic trash bag, we can tell what's inside each bag by touching it. First, we forced ourselves to laugh whenever we had to touch the bodies because we were scared. But after a while, we got used to the point we could make jokes. That's awful and fucked up. You guys are all fucked up. All right, okay. Of course, all of that was probably a bluff. Thank you, Katie. But we tried our best. Mion somehow had detailed knowledge of how to hide corpses, and she told me to dig the hole deeper. Wonder why. Rika helped carry the bags. Satoko used her talents of setting traps to perfectly camouflage the place where we buried the bags. This is so fucked up on so many levels. The weird thing is that they're trying to make it all happy, but it's really fucked up. If you're telling me this is happy, me? I was in charge of digging the hole. Rena dug it earlier, but I made it a little deeper. And let's not forget that the whole village is fucked up, okay? And let's forget that point for a moment. I'm sorry, Nami-chan. She's mad I keep swearing. She looked at me. After we finished that, we walked back to the place where we parked our bicycles, and we looked at the place where we buried the bags. It was completely unnoticeable. We'd never be able to find this place again once we left for home. That's how perfect it looked. Great! Thank you for your hard work, Otsukare-sama. We're done. It's time to go home. Mion said it cheerfully as if we just finished a club activity or something. We had no more bags to carry, and we no longer had any burden to carry either. We got on our bicycles, but Rena was still standing there looking into the distance. Hey, Rena. What? I'm sorry. I think I caught a cold or something. I feel feverish and dizzy. Rena's face looked slightly red. Mion touched Rena's forehead. It actually was a little warm. She had a tough day today. She had to go through so many things. She had to find a place to hide corpses. She had to dig a hole. We caught her with the bags. We talked about our feelings, and we forgave each other. She must be exhausted after a day like that. Rena, you should rest well when you get home.
Yeah, thank you. I will.
Rena, we forgave each other for everything. So don't blame yourself anymore, okay?
You were right about me.
What do you mean?
I couldn't fool myself. No matter how hard I tried to justify what I did, I was still scared. Look at me, I'm still shaky. Even with all the help I got from you. If you hadn't found me, if I'd taken care of this alone, I wouldn't have been able to bear the burden, and I'm pretty sure I would have been crushed by the pressure.
She said all this with a bitter smile. It might take her a long time to heal from the pain, but it must be 100 times shorter than if she would have done it alone. Rena's home was the closest from here. Rena went her way and the four of us were left behind. Mion made a suggestion. I think we should just forget about today. What do you think?
I agree. I think that would be best for Rena, too. Rena is a strong girl. If we act like nothing will happen, she'll act that way, too.
If you keep acting for long enough, it becomes real, right? We'll be able to forget by not talking about it. Our goal is to forget about it completely.
I think we'll keep wondering whether or not the day of reckoning will come for the rest of our lives.
You're probably right. It's not going to be so easy as to simply let it go. Even if I can't forget about it for the rest of my life, that's fine by me. The most important thing is to keep it in my heart forever. The most important thing is that we don't make her think about it. We nodded in agreement, just as my house came into view. Well, this is goodbye. See you at school, just like always.
Just like always.
I'll set a perfect trap for you, just like always. Goodbye, Kay. Why am I suddenly scared for Keiichi's safety at the current moment?
After I parted with them, I still felt hot and dizzy. It felt really weird. I was even staggering to the front door. I felt as if I was floating in the air, like I just took some very strong cold medicine. Today, something shocking, something that made me super happy, and something very embarrassing happened to me. I felt as if my heart and mind were about to explode because they were filled to the brim with both happiness and sadness. I don't know whether I made a crucial mistake today, or if I had the happiest day of my life. I don't know which it was, and all I could do was stare blankly into space. I felt frustrated too. Even though they were my friends, I was caught in the act of abandoning the corpses. But at the same time, I felt relieved that my reliable friends accepted what I did. Those emotions were all mixed up in my heart, and they were equally strong, making it difficult for me to decide what I was feeling. I was losing my sense of balance. It was like the world was warping around me. I heard sounds as if I was in a shower. Everything left me with the feeling of unreality. When those emotions were about to make me lose control, I felt heat on my wrist.
The part where Keiichi grabbed me earlier started throbbing. My feelings weren't cooperating, but the heat on my wrist calmed them down for me. I don't know what I felt when my friends and I held shoulders together in a circle earlier, but the feeling was the only thing I knew to be real. I'm home! Huh? As soon as I opened the front door, I smelled it. It smelled really good. My father isn't good at cooking, but he likes to try to create good dishes. I remember he used to cook something very challenging whenever he was in a good mood. So this smell was a sign he felt that way. That's why I always like this smell. The reason he's in a good mood because he found a job. And not just any job. He found a job with a company created by friends from his old workplace. They remembered my father and promised to hire him. He told me some of his other colleagues from an old company are also working there. It must be very encouraging for him to work with people he knows, because he hasn't worked for a long time. The dinner looked great, in contrast to how it tasted. It was a dinner to celebrate his new life, to show his determination to regain his bond with his daughter and make a clean start. I talked about a lot of things with my father that night. It had been a long time since I talked to him like this. I don't remember what it was, but it reminded me of the days I was still happy, which meant that I'd finally returned to that time. My father still believes that Teppei is coming back one day, so he's very cautious about locking the doors and windows, and he gets scared every time someone rings the doorbell. I told him many times they'll never come back, but I couldn't convince him because I couldn't tell him the reason why they won't. He'll eventually realize that he's free. I'm sure it won't take too long. My heart was full of many, many emotions. If emotion could actually burst a heart open, it might happen to me. My brain must have been overworked because of so many things happened at once. My head was still fuzzy, but I managed to crawl into bed. I felt like the ground was moving. I totally lost my sense of reality. I remember that once I felt like this is when I got the flu. I might get a high fever tomorrow, but I don't care. I don't care if I get sick tomorrow. I just wanted to enjoy the fact that I took a step forward towards the future of my decision. Keiichi told me something like that today. The high fever and dizziness made me feel frustrated for some reason. But whenever I felt frustrated, I felt the heat on my wrist. I grabbed my wrist with my left hand tightly. It made the frustration go away and it brought me relief. Even the dizziness I didn't like just before it made me feel like I was in a down-filled futon. I was falling asleep in that down-filled futon on my first night in a new world. This dizziness didn't go away for a few days, but I gradually got used to it. This new world looked like the one I used to live in, but the sunshine was brighter, and Keiichi's smile looked a little bit more gentle than before. We made more noise than we used to. We spent every day slowly, but in high spirits. What an idiot I am. I underestimated the dizziness and I caught a summer cold in June. I wanted to get better as soon as possible. I should have taken a day off from club activities, but I forced myself to play with them every day, and that made it hard for me to get better. I finally learned my lesson recently. I don't need to feel frustrated. There's no limit to happiness in this world. As long as we keep wishing for it, it'll continue forever. I don't need to feel frustrated anymore because tomorrow I'll have happiness I have today. Wait till Oishi shows up. Oh no. We'll have the Onikakushi festival next Sunday. Mi tells us we'll have a lot of fun and we'll go extra crazy. I really can't wait. And Rena's still gonna get killed. Or Rika, sorry. For some reason, I feel like it's, that Takano chick. letter from the forestry office. Let me guess, they find the corpse. Anyways, so that's it. I'm excited to see Rena get her comeuppance, and I'm excited to see Rika finally reveal what's going on. But my question is about this one is, so in the first book, in the very first book, the one where it was kind of like more about Rena, and I'm pretty sure Keiichi was under the drug or whatever makes you hallucinate and go crazy. But I have to wonder if Teppei and Rena were still a part of that, because we know that the base situations do not change, right? Like at the start of the reset, we know that everything is generally the same. So did that still happen? And no, because Rena didn't like disappear. Well, I can't remember if she did or not, but like this feels like a new loop, especially because Keiichi remembers hashtag quotes. He has the memory of killing Teppei, so we know that it's a new loop. But it just makes me wonder if it was the same in the first loop. Because in some of them, she gets killed by the Sonozakis, which I'm pretty sure is because she did something to them, or like didn't pay them or whatever. I don't know. So maybe she was killed from like. Anyways, those two seem. Yeah. Anyway, speculation. So, we're going to save it there and call it a night. Thank you guys so much again once for watching. Please give me a like on YouTube. And I know that the lighting of it and everything is not as great. Once again, my computer completely broke and I had to order a new one. And because of COVID, we have to wait a while. So, I'm streaming on my laptop, so I apologize if the quality is not as great. But I think that when I upload it to YouTube, it looks pretty good and sounds pretty good. So, thank you guys. I will see you later. Au revoir.